What's up, y'all? It's your boy Chingo Bling, the Tamale King. With inflation, the price of gas, the economy, I can't drive my mamalona anywhere. No quema, cuh. Pretty soon, I gotta go electric, all right? My daughter's Power Wheels, that's my ride now. Sorry, mija.
See Chingo Bling live, October 27th through October 30. Food, family, and fun with Texas Latino Conservatives.
We're conservatives, we're family. Join us at TexasLatinoConservatives.com.
And today on TLC Live, Justice Kevin Jewell for re-election of 14th Court of Appeal. Also for re-election, Justice April Farris, First Court of Appeals. And Janie Lopez, San Benito ISD Board of Trustees.
We have a great lineup today, but before we get into the program, I have to make a public service announcement so that your phone can light up. Today is Andrea's bird day. Translated in English, that means birthday, but Spanish speakers have a hard time pronouncing TH, so it's bird day. It's her birthday, so everybody wish her well. Go on to our Facebook page and send Andrea your birthday wishes.
It's my birthday. Please, birthday wishes. Birthday wishes, birthday flowers, birthday gifts.
Yeah, you'll take it all.
Oh, take it all. I'm 50 years old today.
A half a century?
Half a century.
You look like you're 16.
I know. That's why I came in pink. My sweet 16.
All right, guys, we're well into early voting. The lines are long. People are excited. I don't know that we're setting any records, but certainly we're going to have a large turnout. We just have to make sure that our conservative Texans have a larger turnout than the liberal left. I think everybody's tired of the liberal left with inflation, the price of gasoline, the problems at the border, the crime situation across the state of Texas, and particularly in Harris County. We've experimented for 48 months, for 4 years, with the liberal left, and it's time to get back into orderly government with accountability and a focus on serving the taxpayers and not lining the pockets of our political buddies. So it's an important election. I know we always say that this is the most important election in our lifetime, but it really is. America's at a crossroads, and we've got a lot of work to do. Not only do we have the local issues, but at the federal level, we have wokeism. And, if we speak against the woke culture, we get canceled. So there's a lot going on. And we've got to make sure that we vote not only for our immediate future, but most importantly for the future of our children.
We need people to wake, not to woke.
Yeah. And that's exactly what Pastor Ed Young says. Yeah. Wake up, not woke.
Correct.
And, we had the great pleasure of visiting with Pastor Ed Young last night at the Texas Public Policy Foundation annual awards, where Ed and Nina Hindi received the Sam Houston Award. And it was a very moving program. It's online if you want to see it, I'm sure, with Texas Public Policy Foundation. But as Ed and Nina's pastor, Dr. Ed Young, was there, and Andrea and I had the opportunity to visit with him. He's one of the few pastors that I know of that's willing to step up and talk to the Christian community about participating in the civics process in this country. A lot of churches are very intimidated by the fact that they think they can't speak up with respect to issues facing society. The church has a voice. The church has a freedom of speech. So it's time for our pastors to wake up and encourage the community to get out and do the right thing. So, exciting show.
So we're still in early voting, and I want to tell everybody that till November 4, we're still in early voting, so please go out and vote. Don't wait for the elections day. But as the MC last night in the event was saying that he normally votes every year on the elections day, but this year on a Sunday night on the October 23rd, he went to bed and he said, I can wait for tomorrow for the polls to open to go and vote in early voting. So please go and vote early voting, because we never know how it's going to be the weather, what is going to happen the day of elections, and this is very important. Every vote count. Take your family, take your friends, take your neighbors, take everybody, just spread the word and go and vote. This is the best thing that we can do for our country, for our family, for our society, for ourselves.
So last week, as you all recall, we had a candidate for the Court of Appeals, but down in South Texas, and the Court of Appeal areas are encompassing multi counties. It's not like just Harris County, right? So we had Aaron Pena, who's a former Democrat state representative turned Republican running for the Court of Appeals down in the RGV, and it comes up along the coastal bend up to Fort Bend County. This morning, we have the pleasure of having two candidates from the candidates, but they're up for re-election. They're justices currently. They're sitting justices on the Court of Appeals for the Court of Appeals 1 and Court of Appeals 14th, Kevin Jewell and Justice Farris. So welcome, both of you. Delighted to have you. Thank you for taking time off the campaign trail to be with us. I'll start with Justice Jewell. Explain to us a little bit who is Kevin Jewell, and how'd you get into the profession of law? And tell us a little bit about the Court of Appeals, why it's important, and what's the geographic boundaries of your area that you cover, Justice.
Sure. Let me talk first about the Court of Appeals. So, are you hearing me okay?
Yes.
Just fine.
Okay. So, our court, as you mentioned, is more than just Harris County. We have 10 counties total, and these courts are incredibly important because we hear appeals in all civil and criminal matters from all those 10 counties. And so when you're reminding your voters to get out and early vote and vote on election day, it's critically important that they not skip these appellate court races. As your voters and your listeners may be aware, our judicial system in Texas is comprised of 3 layers. We have the trial court judges, we have the appellate court layer in the middle, and then we have the high courts, the Supreme Court and the Court of Criminal Appeals. And myself and Justice Farris are in the middle layer. These are the most important courts that people never hear of, but it's critically important to keep the most competent jurists on these courts. And so I strongly urge you to not skip these races. We are just below the state reps on the ballot and before the trial court judges. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm running for re-election. I won this seat in 2016, and my 6-year term is ending. Before I came to the bench, I served in private practice for 23 years, handling civil appeals, complex commercial cases in all the appellate courts in the state. I am board certified in civil appellate law by the Texas Board of Legal Specialization, and have been recognized as a super lawyer for many years. So my background prior to coming to the bench prepared me for the extensive and diverse work that this court does. And so I'd ask for your listeners' support in early voting and on election day.
Wonderful. And then let's go, and I'm just going to make a note, Justice Jewell, your video feed is freezing up. It's not a big deal. We still hear you fine, but we're just letting you know. And so, Justice Farris, tell us about the area that you hope to win re-election in, and a little bit about your background.
Absolutely. And to start off, happy birthday, Andrea. That's
Oh,
exciting.
thank you so much.
So, my area is the exact same as Kevin's. So for lots of confusing reasons I won't get into, when back in the 1960s, there was a first court of appeals, my court, which covered the relevant territory. And instead of expanding that court to include new justices, they just decided to create a second court that covers the same territory, which is the 14th Court of Appeals. So Kevin and I are in the same building. We cover the exact same territory. And we hear the same kinds of cases, but we're 2 different courts. And so when you file an appeal in one of our 10 counties, you'll either get the 1st or the 14th, and you won't know until you file it. So that's kind of one of the unique eccentricities of Texas law. But I came on the court in January of 2021. Governor Abbott appointed me to fill a vacancy. And so this is my first time to run for office, and I'm asking voters to help me keep my seat. I was endorsed by the Houston Police Officers Union and also the Houston Chronicle. I've had over 13 years of appellate experience. I've done both criminal appeals and civil appeals. I was a partner at a major law firm. I was also a former assistant solicitor general for the state of Texas, where I handled some criminal matters. And I'm the only candidate for my position who has a decade of experience in appellate law. And I'm also the only candidate for my position who's done criminal appellate law. And criminal is about half of what we handle on a normal year. So I'm hoping to bring experience and fairness to the court. And also I'm actually one of only 2 Republicans on a 9-member court. And so I do think it's important to have a Republican voice on the court as well. So.
Yeah, to have a conservative voice. We always, here in Texas, Latino conservatives, we always talk about vote your values. And you know, we are conservative. We are pro-family and pro-life. And we are always bring the values to our voice and to our organization. So that's very important. When we say Republican, it's say conservatives, and it goes with our values. So I want to ask you, both of you, and we still have Kevin. We still have Kevin. I want to ask you, both of you, what is the cases that it will go with the Court of Appeals? You know, because I'm an immigrant. I came to this country 25 years ago, and everything is different in every country. So for our viewers that are also immigrants that are watching our show, so tell us, what is, the system, the court system in this country is different than the court system in our countries. So what is the cases that it goes to the Court of Appeals? Let's start with Kevin.
I'll go first. It's anything that is civil or criminal in nature that someone wants to appeal from a trial court. So anything that's in family court, any probate matters, even matters that originate in a municipal court, like traffic violations, can eventually get to our court. And so all of those cases are within our areas of jurisdiction. Also parental termination cases, anything of that kind, and all criminal cases. In fact, the only criminal cases that do not go to our court are in death penalty homicide cases. Those go directly to Austin. But other than that, pretty much any civil and criminal case that is appealed will come through our courts for these 10 counties.
So April, so when it gets to the Court of Appeal, is because it's already went to a first step, and you guys are the second step, or when they're appealing the case. So explain to us that.
Yes, so the case will first go to the trial court where it's won or lost, and then the losing party, if they decide to take an appeal, will take it to us. And we're actually the final word on about 90% of the cases that we hear. And that's because we have to take everything that comes to us. The Texas Supreme Court is the next level of review for civil cases, and the Texas Supreme Court can pick and choose what it wants to take, and it only takes about 10% of the cases where there's a petition filed. And the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals is the highest court in Texas for criminal, and they only take about 10% of cases. So really, when I tell people we're the most important court you've never heard of, it's because our word is final on so many matters, business disputes, child custody, criminal cases. And so that's just why it's so important to have judges with experience and values deciding those cases.
There's also a misconception by a lot of people in our community, I think even in the Hispanic community. You know, we often hear people say when they lose at a trial court level, well, I'm going to take this all the way to the Supreme Court. Mm-hmm. First of all, no, you're not.
Yeah.
You don't get to decide what case is taken to the Supreme Court, either of Texas or the United States. And then people are under the misunderstanding that you basically get a new trial. You don't. And so
No.
Justice Jewell, if you can explain what can the Court of Appeals do and not do? As I understand it, I'm not an attorney, but certainly been around government long enough. I guess there's a term called, it's not a de novo trial, meaning that's a Latin term for a new trial, right? All you guys get to do is review the violations of established procedures and errors by either juries or judges.
Correct. We don't try the case anew. We simply look for whether there were mistakes made at the trial court level, either by the lawyers or the judge or even the jurors on occasion. And so we're merely looking to make sure that the rules are enforced. And that's at its bottom, that's what it means to be a conservative justice, is to know the law and to follow the law and to enforce it. And that's what our core function is at the appellate level.
And Judge Farris, we hear this term a lot. My dear friend who ran for Attorney General but was on the Supreme Court of Texas, Justice Eva Guzman, always campaigned that about, interpreting the law, not making law. Can you explain that philosophy, that concept to our listeners? Because the founders, both of Texas and the U.S. government, made the legislative body, if I'm correct, is the lawmaking body. And the courts simply review that these laws conform to constitutions. Is that what it means to be a conservative judge that just looks at the law, says yes, it conforms? But there are such a thing as activist judges. So maybe broadly define to us what a conservative judge is and what an activist judge is.
Absolutely. So I've known Justice Guzman for years, and I think she said it very well. There's a concept called the separation of powers that when the folks who put our Constitution together were deciding who should have power, they decided that the legislature should have the lawmaking power, the power to decide what policies are the correct ones for our country. And then judges are supposed to apply those laws in individual cases. And when we apply those laws, we're supposed to be faithful to what the legislature has decided, so long as it's not in conflict with the Constitution. And we're not supposed to substitute like a judge's own personal policy preferences for those of the legislature. So when we talk about activist judges, those are judges who don't care what the laws are. They're going to decide cases their way in a given case. They're not going to care about what the legislature intended to do. They're only going to kind of act as like kings or queens of their own fiefdom and say the law is whatever I say it is. And that's something that is absolutely toxic to our system, to our form of government, to our way of life. We don't want judges taking the law into their own hands and deciding what the law should be. We want them interpreting the law faithfully and applying it to given cases. Because if you have activist judges, then it really doesn't matter who your legislators are, because they're not going to have control. Under the Constitution, we have the separation of powers to ensure that judges stay in their lane and the legislature stays in theirs.
So I want both of you tell our viewers why, because sometimes when we go to vote, we just go and vote for these, what we call big races. Sometimes it's a presidential elections or the mayor of in these cases, we're going to vote for a state and a U.S. representative. But it's very important to go all the way down to the ballot, because every single race is important. And we are facing right now a lot of crime and a lot of issues with the crime, because many judges are letting these criminals that they're being indicted for many crimes already, they let them out. So not only those races are important, but also the courts of appeal is important. So I want both of you explain why everybody needs to go all the way and educate themselves to go and vote for every race, because everything counts. Let's start with Kevin.
Yeah, it's critically important to go down the whole ballot to vote for all these judges. And even though the ballot in Harris County is the longest in the country and has probably something around 68 judges on it, these judges, which are local judges, including April and I at the appellate level, have a greater, more direct influence on the lives of the people locally than the governor or the statewide offices. And so it's critically important that you know those people and that you exercise your right to select those who will have a direct impact on your lives day to day, particularly with respect to the crime that you mentioned.
So, April?
Yes, so the judicial races are so important. And so if you take a look at the backlog, especially of some of our criminal trial court judges who were swept into power in the last few years, some of them have cases that are just sitting there. They haven't been tried. And when violent crimes aren't being tried in a timely manner, and people end up back out on the street, it creates dangers for all of us. And that's why I'm really proud to say that my court's clearance rate for the past year was 100%. We decided as many cases as we took in. I'm keeping the wheels of justice moving. And if you want safer streets, it's absolutely crucial that we elect judges who are going to do their jobs and who are going to take violent crime seriously. And just as Kevin said, those races probably have more impact on local safety than any other races.
And I want to say something because I hear from many people say like, okay, go vote. It takes time, especially if you have to go all the way down to the ballot. And as you were saying, Kevin, Harris County has one of the longest one. So, and I will tell everybody, this is a time for us and for our family, our safety. So we're not wasting time, and it doesn't matter if it takes 10 minutes, half an hour, or an hour. And I don't think it's going to take that long. But we need to make the time to go and vote and do our homework and go all the way down and vote conscious, because this is going to impact our family, our jobs, our kids, our education, and especially the crime rate that we're living these days, that we live in fear. So we need to take the time, because that half an hour or 20 minutes that is going to take us to go and vote is going to make a big difference in our life for the following 2 years or 4 years of our county, city, and state, and the country.
I will also say that it's best to be, with these long ballots, it's best to be prepared. So this is what I do, and just a suggestion, you can go to to Harris County, Harris Votes, and pull the sample ballot. That way, it won't be new to you when you get in. You can look at the ballot, you can look at the candidates. There are many organizations that endorse candidates. Some of the ones I follow are HRBC. It's called the Houston Realty Business Coalition, I believe. The other one is the C Club of Houston, but there are many others. Police officer unions, the Bar Association. But what I typically do is I'll take the sample ballot, which is also incidentally printed in a magazine that's free. It's a sort of a newspaper by the League of Women Voters. So you can either get the newspaper portion, or you can go to their website, the League of Women Voters, and there will be bios of all the candidates. So you will see Justice Farris, her photograph, her bio, and typically they'll allow her and the opponent to answer 1 or 2 questions. So the League of Women Voters don't take a position on races. They simply give you all the information they can about the races. And then it's up to you to go to trusted sources. It could be your neighbor. It could be your pastor. It could be an attorney you know. Andrea comes to me all the time and asks me how to vote. Kidding. But be prepared. And as Justice Jewell and Justice Farris says, these races are critical. So spend the 15 minutes or 20 minutes voting. My God, you folks will sit on TikTok, or you'll sit on Twitter, or
we
you'll
sit
sit on
the
Facebook,
phones, wasting our time all the time.
doing less important things. So take 15 minutes. That's all we're asking. 15, 20 minutes to go vote and do your civic duty and help your family and help your community and help your children. So Justice Jewell and Justice Farris, thank you for taking time out of your schedule.
Call to action.
Andrea always likes to give the last word to the candidates. She says, what do you ask them?
Call to action. How do we can help you, guys? Where people can find you, and just the last words and why we should vote for you guys.
You can find me at justicekevinjewell.com, and you can read all about my background and history and practice. And I just ask for your support, because I will honor the law and rule with fairness and integrity to all who come before me.
April?
Yes, so my website is aprilfarris.com, and you can follow me on Facebook and Twitter. The biggest help for individuals is tell your friends, post on social media. If you like us and want to support us, tell your friends to vote for us too, especially if you're an attorney, because a lot of times with judicial races, folks who aren't in legal circles really want to know what the attorneys think. So please just share our website, share our endorsements with your friends, and get out there and vote.
Thank you both. And I'll say, as a candidate, former candidate myself, our judicial candidates are just like, when I ran for mayor and city council and county treasurer, we're dependent on the generosity of the public. So contributions can be made to our candidates. Each candidate can legally accept a contribution on their website. It's expensive to campaign. I say this all the time. These judges also have to print yard signs, and they print 4x8s, and they have advertisements in magazines, and they have radio advertisements, and they have television advertisements, and they have to pay their web designers. It's expensive. So if you want to make a contribution to these expensive races, help these two candidates by going to their website and even making a $5 or $10 or $15 contribution. Anything is welcome. Thank you both. Godspeed, good luck, and we will be celebrating with you on November 9th in the morning.
Amen.
Thank you so much for having us.
You bet.
Thank you so much to both of them. And now
Thank you,
we're going to
Orlando.
go to a commercial break.
When Mark is ready. It takes him a while.
What up, what up? It's your boy, Chingo Bling. Look, if you're tired of the Democrats calling us breakfast tacos one day and counting our votes the next, here's what you can do. Vote on November 8th. It's easy, all right? Find your polling place, roll up in your mamalona, your minivan, your slab, whatever, and vote Republican. Don't be taken for granted. We're conservative. We're familia. Join us at harriscountygop.com. Political ad paid for by Harris County Republican Party.
Si pudieras hacer una sola cosa para detener el aumento de la delincuencia, ¿no lo harías? Una cosa para darle voz a las víctimas. Solo una cosa para mantenernos a salvo. Tú puedes. El 8 de noviembre, vota en contra de los jueces demócratas. Los jueces que han dejado que los criminales violentos vuelvan a las calles. Eso es todo lo que necesitas. Y tú puedes hacerlo. El 8 de noviembre, vota por los jueces republicanos.
Anuncio político pagado por el Partido Republicano del Condado Harris.
Well, that was Chingo Bling that is going to be tomorrow with us in the bus tour that we're going to have in McAllen and San Antonio, then coming back to Houston on Sunday. We're leaving tomorrow very early, and we're going to stop in McAllen. It's our first stop. We're going to have different events over there, and Chingo Bling is going to be there. And you need to go to our website, TexasLatinoConservatives.com, TexasLatinoConservatives.com, and you're going to see the list of the events, the cities that we're going to be. Just click on the links below that, because you need to register to be part of the events and to see Chingo Bling.
Yep. And I want to make a comment because I find it somewhat humorous. Do you remember, conservatives work, right? They're taxpayers. They have a job. But liberals, the left, the Democrats don't work because they're the party of handouts. That's what our poll has suggested. You know, Hispanics in Texas, we polled 1,200 registered Hispanic voters, and they said that is there anything about the Democratic Party that troubles you? And they said yes, their handling of the economy and the border. But they also saw the Democratic Party as the party of los vagos, the lazy people, that Hispanics don't like handouts. So since we know that the left is unemployed and sitting in the basement on TikTok and Facebook and other platforms, they've decided to clog our event by creating all these fake RSVPs so that Hispanic conservatives won't have an opportunity to attend to see Chingo Bling. We got y'all figured out. So nice try. It worked really well against Trump one time in Oklahoma. Remember when Trump had the rally? And the TikTokers, you know, they can't even vote. They're 17 and 18, but they, you know, they love Che Guevara and the left and all that stuff. So they clogged Trump's rally, and when Trump shows up, there's nobody there, right? That's what they're trying to do to us. So I say that for our friends in the Rio Grande Valley and in San Antonio and Bexar County and Harris County, share it on Facebook. Bring your friends and family. We're not going to have the unemployed liberal left that's waiting for the government check to derail the operation. So nice try, guys, but we got y'all figured out. All right, who's our next guest?
So our next guest is Janie Lopez, and we have her earlier this year on our show. She is running for San Benito ISD Board of Trustee, and she's a young Hispanic lady. And we want to hear from you again, Janice. How's been your campaign since the last time that we have you here at TLC? And welcome back.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here with you all today. Thank you for having me on your show today. And yes, you all were part of the reason that our campaign was successful when I ran for school board. And after seeing the need in our communities, I decided that it was very important for me to run for a state representative as now and be that voice that the Valley needs. You all said some very, very important things earlier. One is Hispanics are hard workers. Hispanics don't want handouts. And that's what I hear when I'm out knocking on doors, that people don't like the handouts that the Biden administration is doing. The inflation is causing us a huge problem in the Valley. We have people earning incomes of $15,000 a year. And for the Biden administration to say, all you need to do is buy another car if you can't afford gas, then Houston, we have a problem, you know? And that's obviously they're not in touch with the reality of how things are for people. We're not billionaires like them. Some people cannot afford a car just like that, especially when you have people on retirement, people that are on fixed incomes, on disability. And Biden is causing the Valley a problem. And that's why I decided to run for state and represent the people down here in the Valley.
You know, it's interesting to me, Janie, and first of all, congratulations for putting your name in the hat and sacrificing your time to represent the good people of the Rio Grande Valley. You know, you mentioned that because as a former educator and school board member, you know, the Biden administration is trying to nationalize the student loan debt, right? The Ivy League schools that charge about $80,000 a year for the rich liberal kids to go to school to Harvard and Yale and Princeton and Boston and you know, Stanford on the West Coast. And we Latinos, we don't send our kids to those schools. Yeah, a couple of them might get in, but we don't have massive student debt. You know, we want to trade. We'll go to trade school, right, at the local community college, or we may go to A&M Kingsville or one of our local schools. So the Biden administration thinks it's going to buy, you know, a big swath of the vote. You know, that's not appealing to Latinos. It's the largest giveaway to the liberal left I've ever seen. Fortunately, I think the courts have stepped in and stopped that. But it reminds me, Janie, of how the Democrats have misread the Hispanic community. They think we're for handouts. They think that they can nationalize our kids' student debt. In other words, put it on Andrea, put it on me. for the kids in Boston that go to Harvard. Nah, Texans are not going to pay for your Harvard students' education. And, on the border, Janie, they've screwed that up, right? They portray our Customs and Border Patrol agents as evil people that whip immigrants, when we know that the majority of our Border Patrol agents are Latinos. They want to defund the police. Hispanics want nothing more than a safe neighborhood. And by the way, our sheriffs and constables and deputies and DPS officers protecting our border, mostly Latinos. And then ultimately they trash the military. And our kids from the Rio Grande Valley disproportionately join the U.S. military. So, the Democrats are shooting themselves in the foot. And then on top of that, they want to promise you a check. And Latinos go, we don't want the government cheese. We don't want the government check. We want economic opportunity. Get out of the way, échate pa un lado, y déjame yo hacer lo que yo quiero con mi familia.
But it's nothing for free. I mean, what is the consequence when we get something from the government? How much we're going to pay for that?
Yeah, it's a sense of entitlement that people develop. And I hear it all the time from employers. People don't want to work anymore. When the Biden administration was handing out a lot of money for people not to work, that caused a problem. Now people don't want to return back to work. And businesses are having to close down because they don't have the manpower that's needed. You talked about law enforcement. I've talked to many law enforcement out in our community, and they're outnumbered. You have a certain number of law enforcement officials to so many hundreds and thousands of people that are coming in through the border. Then as a school counselor, I used to fight the drug issue. Now we have the fentanyl issue, and the fentanyl issue is killing our kids. I'm a licensed counselor. I deal with people all the time. I have personally dealt with families that lost a loved one to the fentanyl issue here in the Valley. The issue is real, even though the media doesn't want to show the reality of things that are happening in the Valley. Law enforcement is getting stabbed, shot at, and they need better equipment as well. Thankfully, our cities have been very supportive of law enforcement and providing them some of the funding that they need. However, you were talking earlier about elected officials that are in office right now. Our local judges here in the counties in South Texas didn't accept the aid that Governor Abbott was providing to them when it came to the border crisis. That would have brought more jobs in law enforcement. It would have brought more pay for our law enforcement officials that are being overworked right now. And it could have brought more money for better equipment for them as well. And so when you have elected officials that are not in this for the people, what's happening to our cities? And I hear it all the time, they're becoming ghost towns. Our streets are getting worse. Businesses are closing down. What are they doing? How are they handling things? Obviously, it's not responsibly. And this is why it's very important that the people that have those conservative values pay attention to. It's not about party lines. It's about who is the right person for these positions. And I am so proud of people going out to vote recently. I am wearing a t-shirt because I was out at the polls. People are getting out to vote in numbers. And all I hear across the board is we don't like what's happening to our country. We need change. We're tired of the corruption that's happening here in the Valley. And that's why they're willing to give new people that are running for office that have never been in office before, they're willing to give them a chance because they're tired of the same old, where you don't see anything positive coming out of our cities. And so people want new people elected. And this is the time to vote for those conservative Republicans that are running for office down here. We have people running for judge, running for commissioner, myself running for state representative. We have Adam Hinojosa that's running for the Senate also, and several other conservative people that are stepping up to the plate, because the more we sit as conservatives, if we just sit in our couch, guess what? They're going to keep taking over our cities, our schools. Mm-hmm. And it's time to rise up. Pray about it. If God leads you to the next election to run for office, please do it, because we need good people to get into these positions. Otherwise, we're going to keep seeing the corruption. And our cities are not going to prosper. Our students, just on the school board ourselves, we've been fighting some of the issues that of mismanagement of funds. A $40 million project was supposed to have been completed already. It's still not completed. And now that $40 million project is going to cost us $50 million because of mismanagement of funds. And thankfully, now that I'm on the board and other board members that are conservative minded, we're trying to fix those issues, but yet our opponents are calling me corrupt when I'm the one that's trying to fix the issues. I'm the one that got involved when there was a board member that had been arrested, and we took him to court, and the judge removed him or suspended him from office. I've been in the front lines fighting for you all, and I will continue to do that. And I'm not going to be intimidated by anyone. I will continue to be that voice that the Valley deserves.
That I love it. I left my country. I'm from Colombia, and I left my country because of corruption, lack of opportunities. And I came to this country because this is the land of opportunities. And the way we always see United States, or the way we always I used to see it before I came here. It was like, over there, everything works. People, there is no corruption. It's everybody pay taxes, and you can see the results of the taxes because you see the roads. You don't see, ¿cómo se dice huecos? Los huecos en las calles.
Potholes.
Exactly. You don't see that.
Told you I'm the translator.
The translator. So, that was the way I was seeing the United States back then, 25 years ago, before I came here. And I couldn't wait to come here because this is a land of opportunity, and I want to raise family here, and I want to get married here and have kids here. I didn't want to live in my country as much as I love my country. But I know the reality over there. And now seeing what is going on in this country is really sad. And that's you and other people, like the non-background politicians, are stepping in the plate because enough is enough. It's like, I don't care about politics. I just want to help my community. I just want to do something for my community. I want to be a leader in my community. Otherwise, where we're going to be? What is going to happen with our kids? Our kids are the future of this country. And look at what they're doing with them at school. So that's why we're concerned. I have twins. They're 17 years old, about to graduate in high school, go to college next year. And they are very conservative because I've been taking care of them in my house. But I see them talking about their other kids that they're not, because the kids are being brainwashed in this country. Why is that? So, and I said, to me, United States is the heart of the world. If the heart of the world, it doesn't work, the whole world is going to fall apart. If this country fall apart, the whole world is going to fall apart.
If Texas falls apart, I think our country is going to fall apart. And that's why we have to keep Texas red. We have to keep it conservative also. And when it comes to the schools, I've been in the front lines fighting some of the curriculums that are trying to get in, like the LGBT curriculums, the CRT curriculums, and I've gone united with pastors, letting them know what's going on in the schools and so forth. And thankfully, there's been other conservative-minded board members that are also against this, and so we've been able to stop it in our district. But what about the other districts, right? Where pre-kinder kids are being taught about being gay and stuff, and it's like, that's not okay. That should be a parent's choice. If they want to teach their kid that's up to the parents, but it does not belong in the schools. In the schools, we need to focus on math, science, history, government. Let's teach them what they need to know so they can be successful human beings, right?
Skills to be somebody in this society. Know that.
Right. We don't need to be teaching them about sex. Come on, guys. Especially at the elementary level. The kids don't need to be seeing this. And now you got Disney movies now, and people are not aware of this. Some of these Disney movies are promoting transgender activities. And, you got Hocus Pocus, and you got, a male couple married. And you have another movie that came out recently with Buzz Lightning, two girls kissing. Why is Disney doing this to our kids? Teaching them these things that are against our values.
Yeah, Janie, but let me just encourage the public. when you go to Florida and Disney World and Disneyland, there's still a lot of people. So you guys need to decide if you want to support that kind of crap, then show up to Disney World and Disneyland. But you can send Disney, who owns television stations around the country and was the premier entertainer of our children. I don't think they are anymore. But parents need to speak up. Don't go. Don't go. Don't support them. Withhold your dollars, and you'll see Disney stock fall. You'll see the woke members of their board of directors, private equity firms will stop investing in them, and it's a cascading effect. Everyone watching, every taxpayer, every voter, every resident, every citizen has the power to say, we're not supporting that financially. We're not taking the kids to Disney. Maybe we'll go to Six Flags. Maybe we'll go to SeaWorld. Maybe we'll go to a water park. Maybe we'll go to Schlitterbahn. There's a lot of family entertainment out there. Find family entertainment. Take them to Dolly World in Missouri. You don't have to go to Disney. Just because they spend billions trying to brainwash and advertise for your children's, just like TikTok, you don't have to do it. And so wake up. That's one of the things I love about Pastor Ed Young in Houston. He talks about wake up. Mm-hmm. Christians need to wake up. And it's not Christians. It's the Jewish community needs to wake up. And the Muslim community, which I know are very conservative, wake up. And if you don't want your child indoctrinated in the public school system, use the power of your dollar to send a message. Now, Janie, let me switch gears. A quick question. Did you go through our Leadership Latino training?
No, sir.
Okay. But you've been down in there with us when we had lunches down in the Rio Grande Valley, right? That's where we met several years ago.
Yes.
You're block walking. You're working the polls today. Tell us what you're hearing, because we know we get the New York Times and the Washington Post, the LA Times, some of the local newspapers, Houston Chronicle, the Dallas Morning News, San Antonio Express, are all reporting and giving us their slant, because we know that, the media doesn't report the news anymore. They report their opinion and their slant. What are you seeing? Are the traditional Latinos that used to vote Democrat coming to you and saying, we're voting for Republicans, we're voting for you, we're going to the conservative side?
Yes, I'm hearing more and more that people are tired of the border issue down here. They don't like what's happening with the inflation, with the economy, and they're deciding that they're wanting to vote red. They say we don't like what's going on, and we're going to start voting Republican this year. They've told me, we've seen what you've been doing, and we're going to vote for you because we trust you, we believe in you, and we need more women to be strong like that. More and more women are coming to me saying, like, I appreciate what you're doing because you're a strong woman and you're a role model to other kids. And so more and more I'm hearing that people are tired of what's going on. They're tired and they are not going to take this anymore. And I think that it's evident in the polls. You all saw the polls recently with Governor Abbott and Kim Paxton and the other top positions that right now they're winning by double digits, according to the polls, right? And so that's exactly what I'm hearing when I'm out there talking to people.
Well, it's like las comadres con las chanclas.
Bring the chancla back. I would say bring the chancla back.
Janie, I said several years ago, and Andrea's my witness, that Hispanic women were going to lead the charge towards conservatism in Texas. And it is a fact. We got Janie Lopez, a fabulous candidate, served her community on the school board, running for state representative. We have Cassie Garcia, Monica de la Cruz, Mayra Flores. I mean, the number of women, Erin Peña Garza leading the Hidalgo County Republican Party. I mean, you go down to the Rio Grande Valley and all of South Texas, and you have strong Latina women saying, we're not putting up with this crap anymore.
No.
You're not going to shove this wokeness down my child's throat. I'm in charge of the values in my family. Not you, not the school board, not the Disney board, not TikTok, not any of the social media platforms, but me, la mamá, right?
La mamá con la chancla.
All right, Janie. Yeah, go ahead.
Call to action, where we can find you, how we can help.
Yes, you can find me on Janie Lopez for Texas on Facebook or on Twitter. We have a website also, janielopez.com. It's very easy to find as well. And just feel free to reach out to us through Messenger as well at our website. Any way that you want. We're always making ourselves available. And have encourage your friends and family to go vote. I hear people when they're going to vote. I'm bringing my mom today. I got my sister with me today. I got my neighbor with me today. And so get your friends and family out to vote. You probably have hundreds and hundreds of people on your phone book. Text them, call them, ask them to go vote. And vote for the right people. Vote for Janie Lopez and all the other conservative candidates. We got Oscar Rosa, those of you that live in San Benito. I have half of San Benito, and then Oscar Rosa is on the other half of San Benito. So I encourage y'all to vote for him. He's a great man, also very conservative minded like me. And so I encourage y'all to get out the vote.
Janie, are you coming to any of our Chingo Bling stops along the Rio Grande Valley?
I need to look them up. I heard you mentioning them, and so I haven't
go
come
to our
across
website,
anything.
texaslatinoconservatives.com, and you're going to see the schedule, the time, the venues, everything. Please join us. We would love to see you there, and we would love to. I don't know, you met her before, right? In person, but I haven't met you in person, so we need to get together. We're leaving tomorrow, 8 o'clock in the morning. We're around 2 o'clock. We're going to be in McAllen, and I think the event is at around 6 o'clock. So we would love to see you over there.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And for the audience listening out there, look, I'm a big believer of our freedoms. My parents came from Mexico themselves to give us that better life in search of that American dream. And we got to keep defending those freedoms that we have. And earlier we were talking about LGBT lifestyles. Hey, if a person wants to live that lifestyle, that's up to them. I'm the one to judge, but do not indoctrinate our kids. They're too young for this, you know. And we gotta protect our freedoms. And God bless you all. Thank you so much. I ask for your vote. Those of you listening, take care.
All right, Janie, thank you. And we're very proud of you up here in Harris County. We're going to wish you the very best. I know that you're going to win your race, and you're going to be our state representative-elect come November the 9th on Wednesday morning, and we'll be down there celebrating with you. Keep up the good work. Go back to the polls, and let's keep talking to our communities. Take care.
Thank you. God bless.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Let's run one more time our commercial for Chingo Bling.
I think you can probably call.
What up? It's your boy, Chingo Bling. Look, if you're tired of the Democrats calling us breakfast tacos one day and counting our votes the next, here's what you can do. Vote on November 8th. It's easy, all right? Find your polling place, roll up in your mamalona, your minivan, your slab, whatever, and vote Republican. Don't be taken for granted. We're conservative, we're familia. Join us at harriscountygop.com. Political ad paid for by Harris County Republican Party.
Si pudieras hacer una sola cosa para detener el aumento de la delincuencia, ¿no lo harías? Una cosa para darle voz a las víctimas. Solo una cosa para mantenernos a salvo. Tú puedes. El 8 de noviembre, vota en contra de los jueces demócratas. Los jueces que han dejado que los criminales violentos vuelvan a las calles. Eso es todo lo que necesitas. Y tú puedes hacerlo. El 8 de noviembre, vota por los jueces republicanos.
Anuncio político pagado por el Partido Republicano del Condado Harris.
I was like, oh, that's my voice.
Yeah, do we know that woman? It brought a thought up. Anybody that wants to advertise on our program can.
Oh.
Right, so if you're a business and you want to advertise on our program because we are live on Facebook and then on YouTube, and then we have our own YouTube channel, we do get sometimes, several thousand viewers.
I didn't.
And we're not expensive. We're not cheap, but we're not expensive.
Yeah. I don't want to be cheap.
Yeah.
We need to be...
I'm cheap, not Andrea. You guys can tell. This is like name brand stuff, right?
I don't know. I just like good stuff. Period.
I mean, like, you shop at the most. Where do you get your clothes? Paris?
No, not at all. You know what? I just have a good taste, and I can buy anything that is not expensive, and I just know how to put things together.
Are you saying I don't have good taste?
Well, you have good taste for women. Is that good enough?
Listen, so you don't think my Wranglers and my Luke Casey boots are good taste?
No, you are a very classy man. You know.
Oh.
No, you have good style.
Okay.
Yeah, good. You have.
All right, today's Andrea's birthday, so birthday. So tweet her
tweet her.
Yeah, tweet birthday.
Birthday.
Tweet.
Okay, tweet me or
send her well wish. She's on Facebook, or give her a call if you've got her cell number. And she's half a century old, but again, she looks like she's 16. But anyway, we really do wish you well.
Yeah, and we're gonna keep celebrating in the bus tour down in McAllen and then San Antonio.
Well, you're always celebrating.
Well, you know what?
That's the thing about you Colombians. You always celebrate.
We celebrate normally. It's the month. It's the month birthday.
You celebrate waking up.
No, we celebrate that we breathe.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. Andrea will tell you, but we are dependent on donations. So if you like what you see, you like the work we're doing, you like the commercials we produce, you like the candidates we bring, you like the bus tours that we're doing, you like the training sessions that we train young people like Mayra Flores and all of the state mayors that we've helped elect around the state of Texas, Michelle Gamboa up in Longview, and Dan Corrales in Midland, and Mr. Garcia in Kerrville, Texas, Joel Castro in Alvin, Texas. We're building the farm team of young conservative Latinos, which will take this state into the future. That's what we do. So if you like that, go to our website, make a contribution. And you can make a contribution in honor of Andrea's birthday. Birthday.
Well, just go to TexasLatinoConservatives.com, TexasLatinoConservatives.com. You're going to find the dates, the times, the venues, the cities, everything, all the information with the bus tour with Chingo Bling. And it's going to be tomorrow in McAllen, Friday in San Antonio, and in Houston here on Sunday at Azteca Farmers Market. We're going to have so much fun. We're all going to be there, and you just need to register. Go to the link and register. It's at no cost, and we will love to see you there. And, of course, go and vote. We are in early voting. Please go and vote. This is very, very important. This is the future of our family. This is the future of our kids, the community, and ourselves.
And take your abuela, your tía, comadre, el
que
esposo,
quieran.
Los hijos. Take everybody to go vote, and then vote your values. Thank you all for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Nos vemos el próximo miércoles. Chao, chao.